While option number 1, true, usually doesn't arise questions, sometimes it's quite difficult to differentiate between false and not stated. So in this part of the lesson, we're going to look at 2 options that are the most confusing and work on our studying strategy. Guys, this is the most important part. The statement is false when something in the audio directly contradicts it. The statement is not stated, 3, when nothing in the audio contradicts or proves it. We're going to have a look at examples so that it's clear. Let's imagine that we have this statement in our task. Greg went to the best university in Russia for a year. In the audio, we hear something like this. Oh, Moscow, I love that city. I studied there for a whole year. I want you to think if the statement that we see in front of us is true, false, or not stated, based on this audio. Again, the phrase that you hear is, oh, Moscow, I love that city. I studied there for a whole year. Guys, this is a typical case of a not stated option. Yes, Greg studied in Russia. Yes, he did that for a year. But we have no idea what kind of an educational institution he went to. Maybe it was the best university. Maybe it was a school or just some courses. We just don't know. And when we don't know, we choose 3, not stated, because nothing in the audio contradicts or proves the statement in the task. Let's take another statement. This is what we see in the task. Mary still needs to get a visa to Russia. In the audio, we hear, do you know anyone who went to Russia? I'm pretty worried about my trip. I went to the embassy yesterday and received my visa, but I'm not sure I know enough to actually travel there. True, false, or not stated? Well, get and received are synonyms in this case. So when Mary says that she received her visa yesterday, she contradicts our statement. She doesn't need to get a visa anymore because she has already got it. Therefore, the statement is 2, false. Okay, now, with those 2 examples, I really hope that you understand the difference between false and not stated options better. But just to make sure, let's have a look at a couple more statements. Imagine that this statement is in your task. Mary wants Greg to give her some advice. In the recording, you hear, I really don't know if I'm going to be okay there for a whole year, alone, with no one to ask for advice or help. I'm pretty scared, to be honest. True, false, or not stated? Well, we heard the word advice, which was supposed to confuse us, right? But we listened carefully and we understand that Mary used that word in a different context. She was talking about her year in Russia and how she doesn't have any friends there to turn to. She did mention her concern in her conversation with Greg, and maybe she does need advice. Maybe Greg will even give it later in the audio, but she did not ask for it. So, if we're basing our answer on the recording, then this statement is 3, not stated. Nothing in our short recording told us that she didn't want advice, so we can't say that it's false, and nothing in her words proved that she did want it, so it can't be true. The last option left is the right one, guys. 3, not stated. Okay, guys, one more example. Let's stick to the same statement. Mary wants Greg to give her some advice, right? But this time, there's something different in the audio. Greg offers Mary his opinion. We hear that Mary says, oh, thanks. I could really use a recommendation from a person who's been to Russia. But as far as I know, you've never left the States. So, Mary does want advice in this case. But does she want it from Greg? No. She wants it from a person with similar experience. So, our recording directly contradicts our statement. 2, false. Alright everyone, I think you're ready to try this yourself. What do you say? Let's see how well you can do this, and we'll move on to learn more about paraphrasing.